Hello there. Welcome to this video from Loving Every Stitch by Ruby Baby. I'm Ruby Baby. In this video, we've got to make the super fun, super addictive scrap beanie, scrap hat, scrappy hattie, whatever you want to call it. We got to make it. So grab your scraps, grab all your stray strings and all of that stuff, and let's make it. Okay, so here's the template of the hat that we'll be working with. I'll be using a 9mm crochet hook. Can you see that? There you go, 9mm crochet hook. Then you'll also need a tapestry needle. This is my bent tapestry needle that I use. And then you'll need measuring tape. You'll also need a stitch marker. I have just one, and a pair of scissors. So this is one of the scrap hats that I've made already, and this is the template that I'm going to be working with you today. And just see how the colors are just so beautiful. I just love this idea, this design, this hat so much. And we're going to make one together. And so for this demonstration, I'm just going to use a handful of scrap yarn that I have. I have it here in the basket. And we're going to just pick two colors to get started. And we'll take it from there. The beauty of this project is that you can use anything, any length of yarn or string that you have, any color and combination that you can possibly think of, and you're gonna come out with a beautiful, beautiful hat. Just for this demonstration, I'm just gonna use some solid yarn that I have on hand. And so to get us started, you know how it goes. We make ourselves a slip knot using 2 strings at a time, or 3, however many you want, but for this demonstration it's 2. And we're going to chain 31. Okay, so after you've chained your 31, this is our chain, and the goal here is to measure about 12 inches. So the length of our hat, because it's a fold brim, we're gonna go for 12 inches. So therefore, no matter what yarn you use, what hook size you use, and all of those things, the ultimate goal is to chain for 12 inches. I prefer to use round numbers, so 30 stitches across is what we're working with today. So here's a little sizing chart you can use that ranges from baby to adult. At the second chain from the hook, we're gonna do a half double crochet in that first stitch, and then we're gonna half double crochet across the next 24 stitches. So all in all, we're gonna do 25 half double crochets across this chain. Okay, so I'm coming to my 25th half double crochet, and I have 5 stitches left, and I'm going to do a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm gonna slip stitch in my last 2 stitches. So this is gonna start forming our crown, so it'll be narrower on the top and wider at the bottom. Okay, so from this point on, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to be working in the back loops from this point and for the rest of the pattern. So we're going to slip stitch in the back loop in our first 2 stitches. So right there, slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And at this point, I'm just going to place my stitch marker here just to help me not have to like count all the time. And we're going to half double crochet the rest of the row down. So that's half double crochet in the next 25 stitches. All right, so I'm looking at my work and the feeling is right. I feel like it's time to either change color or pretend I ran out of one. But I'm going to stagger my yarn, and what I mean by that is that I'm going to cut one and keep one. So for this part, I'm going to cut off the light blue and I'm going to keep the purple. And then I'm going to attach my new color with the cut color. And so I'm going to tie a little knot here, and I'm going to leave about an inch. Let's say it like an inch tail like that. And pull it tight. And it's a simple knot. It's secure. It won't go nowhere on either side. It's tight on each side. See that there? It ain't going nowhere. And this is the time when you have to fight the feeling to weave in your ends. So when you continue on with your stitches, you're going to leave that tail just hanging out because we're going to brush those out at the end. That's all part of the design. So just leave that out and keep going with your pattern. Okay, so I've arrived to the end of this row, and this is what it looks like so far. And at this point, I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and work my way back across. So it's 25 half double crochets, 3 single crochets, 2 slip stitches, all in the back loop. And you can decide to change your color whenever you feel like it or whenever your yarn runs out. When I have large or long strands of yarn, I don't mind letting the yarns play out. So at this point, I'm doing my single crochets and slip stitches right here. But feel free to make it your own and change colors whenever you want. Like I said, when I have the long stretches of yarn, I let it play out a little longer, maybe a whole row, or maybe even 2 rows. And sometimes a strand of yarn may only last a couple of stitches, but either way, be creative, you know? So this is what we got so far, and I'm feeling like I need to transition a new color. So now I'm going to keep the green and cut the purple. So now I'm done with the purple for now, or just done. And I'm attach a new color. Okay, so I found this short strip of black, so I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean by a strand of yarn may only last a couple of stitches. So I'm gonna just use this little remnant of black that I have here, and I'm just gonna connect it on to my yarn just like I showed you before. So I'm just gonna connect this onto the little purple strand that I cut, leaving about an inch of tail. That's all I need, just like about an inch. Just secure that tight. And once you secure it, you just continue on with your pattern. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of my rope. No pun intended. I'm running out of black. So now I need to put another piece of yarn there. So I'm going to connect another color. And let's see what we're going to use. How about this orange? Just going to connect that to my short strand. Remembering to tie my knot and leave my stem. Just like that. And we're just going to keep going. And again, don't forget, do not weave in your ends. Just leave them out. All right, so we're coming up to the top of this row. And this is what we got so far. This is what it's looking like. I like it. All right, and so that's pretty much the pattern. So what we're doing is we're repeating rows 2 and 3 back and forth until we achieve about 21 inches wide from the brim side. For me, that was about 30 rows, and I will meet you back at the end of the 30 rows and we'll take it from there. Okay, so don't be upset, but this is actually another hat I was working on, but I'm finished all the rows on this portion. So this is what this hat turned out to be. And see, this is my crown and this is my brim side here. And so this is the part that we want to measure about 21 inches. This was 30 rows for me going across. And so I just wanted to finish up here. And what I actually decided to do for this design is I ended my hat with the same colors that I began with. So when I do seam it together, the pattern has the same rhythm. So that's the color I started with another color, and I'm ending with that same color just to bring it all together. That's an option. You don't have to do that, but that's just what I happen to have done with this hat pattern. Okay, so here we are at the end, and I just want to show you the measurement here, stretching it across, and it's giving me my 21 inches. And we are going to fasten off our yarn. So what I do to fasten off my yarn, I am going to cut off the secondary yarn, which would be the pink. I'm going to cut that off. And then I am going to, so I cut that short because that's just like a regular end that we're gonna weave. And for the main color, the color that's connecting both sides, I'm going to use that as a sewing strand. So what I do is I just measure it double the length of the hat, and then I just cut it off because that will be all the string that I need for that portion. So even if you didn't match the sides like I did, you can just do the same method and just pick a color to weave in and pick a color to sew across. So I just pull that out and secure that with, with a chain 1 knot. And I don't need my stitch marker there anymore. And so now I'm going to just bring all my ends to one side. Bring all of those little strands, those little loose strands, I'm just pushing them through and bringing them all to one side. Okay, so after I've done all of that, I'm going to bring my ends together, matching brim to brim and crown to crown, just like that. Just fold it in half. I'm going to grab my tapestry needle and thread my long side. And I'm actually going to, I guess this is mattress stitch it back and forth, meeting stitch for stitch. So we're gonna go over, I'm gonna go into that first stitch, and I'm actually gonna just tie a knot between these two strands right here. And that's just gonna secure the short strand, and I'll weave that in later. Keep that nice and tight just to kind of hold it together. And then I'm going to take my tapestry needle and go through the front loop of the crocheted side, and yep, the front loop right there. And then I'm going to match it with each chain stitch from the other side. So front loop and the first stitch of the chain. And then I'm gonna go from the first stitch of the chain into the front loop. I'm gonna go back and forth. I'm not gonna whip stitch, I'm gonna go back and forth. And as you're going back and forth, you don't want to pull too tight, but you do want it to be secure. But you do that all the way across until you get to the top stitches. Okay, so we're coming across the last couple of stitches here. Sorry, I kind of get out of frame a little bit, but we're just finishing up these last couple of stitches here. And I just give that a little stretch just to make sure it's not too tight and too gathered. And when I finish that, I knot it right here. I just put a knot here to secure that line. I'm securing those stitches. I'll just do a little knot here. But we're not finished. So let me just secure this right here. You don't have to tie a knot here. This is just what I did, but that part is not necessary if you don't want to. But now we're gonna secure our crown. So this is what we got so far. That's what we got so far. So now let's secure our crown. All right, so this is what we have so far. And we're going to use the same strand and we're going to secure our crown. So now that it's knotted in that spot, it's secure and it's fine right there. We're going to continue and sew up our crown. So what we're going to do is, using the same strand and the tapestry needle, we're going to go in and out the open spaces that you're going to find at the top. So in between each section, there's like open stitches. You see that there, the open stitches? We're gonna just go back and forth, weave back and forth in those open spaces, just like that. So we're going in and out in those open spaces right at the top of each row section, just in and out all the way around. You see that? And so once you get back to the first set of stitches, we can just pull and cinch it all in. And you can pull it and push it, you know, push the stitches together, push the rows together to make it tight, and then secure it with a knot. Just like that, just secure it with a knot. I usually do about 2 knots. It's good enough. And then it's pretty tight, but you still see a little bit opening there. So I'm actually just gonna run my stitches across. I'm just across the top, just trace across the top stitches all the way back around. So go back around and just trace the very top of the stitches there. And once you pick up a few of them, you can pull tight again and it'll cinch it all tight. See, there's nothing there, nothing penetrating, and it's nice and neat. And then secure it with a knot, just like that. And once you do your knots, you can weave in that end, and you can either fasten off or you can bring it to the other side and let it be one of those tails. But I'm gonna just weave it in right here. You see, it's nice and tight, and I'm just gonna weave in my ends right here. Oh my goodness, I just love it already. I love turning trash into treasure. I just love it so much. So we're gonna turn it to its right side, and you see where all our little ends are just poking out and stuff like that. So I'm just making sure we have all our ends on the right side. And now that we've got all our little bits hanging out, we're gonna brush them all out. So you can either take your tapestry needle and unravel the strands. You can unravel it like that. And you do that to all of them. Just kind of unravel them and comb them out. And you can just do that to all of the little hanging strands that are out. Or if you have the little comb, you can grab your comb and just brush them out or comb them out. Just unravel them all. I just go from tip to root, so to speak, but just, brush it out from the end, because if you go too deep, it's just going to be extra tangled and you're going to pull out more of the fluff than you really want to. So I just take my comb and just comb it out, and you comb out every single one all around the hat. And also, if some of your strands are too long after brushing them out, You can definitely cut them down, trim them down a little bit. You just want little sprigs. You don't want them to be too long. So you just want them like to be little sprigs all around. And here you have your beautiful, scraptastic, scrap wonderful, happy, scrappy, scrappy beanie. I love it. I love this hat. I love this design. I love this concept. I love this idea. And I love you. And that's why I made this video, so that we all can have a little piece of this joy. It's the colors for me. I don't know about you, but all the colors and all the combinations are giving me all the joy. And by the way, did you know that this hat sells for over $300 in some places? $300, y'all. What are we doing? I mean, I'm not going to sell my hats for $300, but maybe $295. Just kidding. But enjoy your hats, guys, and enjoy the process. Enjoy the color fun. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Okay?